Hello guys, welcome back to the channel for another massive breakdown of our favorite magical martial arts journey. If you watched our analysis of the previous chapters, you know we left off on a massive cliffhanger, with Arthur miraculously surviving a fatal fall down a massive cliffside. After sacrificing himself to save his pregnant mother and dragging an enemy mage down into the abyss with him, our tiny MC woke up battered, exhausted, and completely alone in an unfamiliar forest. Today we're diving into this part of the story with a full breakdown. Settle in, grab a snack, and get comfortable because this trilogy takes us on an incredible ride, from Arthur's hilarious encounter with a talking corpse to a terrifying creature reveal, a deeply emotional bond, revolutionary magic training, and a shocking cliffhanger that changes everything. Let's break down every single detail. We pick up right where the mystery begins. Arthur is cautiously exploring the dense, unfamiliar forest when out of nowhere an echoing voice pierces the quiet air. "Oh, you are awake." Completely caught off guard, our tiny MC's heart drops into his stomach. He instantly dives behind the nearest tree, pressing his back against the bark as his eyes dart over to the dead bandit lying on the grass. Panicking, Art internally yells, "Don't tell me the corpse is talking." Arthur has officially unlocked a brand new fear, talking corpses. Before he can process the absurd situation, the voice speaks up again. "How is your body?" Clutching his chest, Arthur's sweat drops, praying to whatever higher power is listening. "I swear to God, if it gets up." Reading his mind, the mysterious voice chuckles softly. "Don't worry, the corpse won't be reanimating if that's what you're afraid of." Hearing this, Arthur lets out a long, heavy sigh of relief, leaning against the tree. But a split second later, his battle instincts kick back in. He facepalms internally, realizing, wait, don't just trust this unknown voice no matter how silky smooth and dignified it sounds. Re-engaging his combat stance, Art unsheathes his dagger, pointing it directly toward the direction of the sound and demanding, "Who are you? Are you the one that saved me?" The voice replies with absolute composure, "Yes, to your second question. As for the first, you'll find out once you arrive at my dwelling." Arthur narrows his eyes, scoffing with a competitive smirk. "You sound pretty confident that I'll even try to find you." Without missing a beat, the voice drops a massive truth bomb. "Well, I am the only one that will be able to get you home from this place." That single word, home, strikes Arthur like a bolt of lightning. Images of his life instantly rush through his mind: Ray, Alice, the twin horns, and his unborn baby sibling. Anxiety grips his heart as he wonders if his family survived the slave trader ambush and made it safely to Zyra City. Abandoning all his tough guy attitude, Art immediately changes his tone, switching to maximum politeness. "Mr. Voice, may I inconvenience you for directions so that you may grace me with your presence?" The voice giggles, amused by his quick shift. "You catch on quick, Arthur Lewin, although it's a bit rude to refer to a lady as Mr. But your sentiment is there, so yes." Arthur freezes in place, his mind racing. "Wait, how does she even know my name?" Before he can ask, the lady interrupts, "I'll show you." Suddenly, Arthur's eyes glow a faint red, instantly revealing the precise direction and path leading straight toward her location. She advises him, "I'd recommend leaving while it's still daylight. Traveling here after dark is a terrible idea." As Arthur begins his trek through the woods, his physical body gradually recovers, leaving him with only a few minor aches by the afternoon. However, his hyperanalytical mind can't stop spinning. He ponders the impossible nature of his survival. What kind of high-tier magic did she use to save him from a fatal plummet? How did she even know he was falling in the first place? And why did she save only him while leaving the bandit mage behind? Suddenly, the soothing sound of rushing water interrupts his thoughts. Sprinting toward the noise, Art gasps, "Jackpot, it's actually a river," the first luxury after surviving a cliff, a proper bath. After days of blood, dirt, and surviving a terrifying drop, Art wastes absolutely no time, strips off his filthy clothes, and dives straight into the river. Just as he's enjoying his relaxing swim, the lady's voice echoes directly into his mind once again. "How pleasantly carefree. Don't worry, there isn't much to see." Oof, emotional damage. The poor guy just got roasted by someone he hasn't even met yet. Arthur twitches, desperately repeating his internal mantra. "They are just words, Arthur. A king must remain calm and unfazed." The lady playfully apologizes. "I apologize for startling you, don't pout." Hiding his embarrassment, Arthur mutters a classic line of denial, "This body is just undeveloped, that's all." After wrapping up his bath, Arthur fills his water bag, grabs a quick bite of fruit from his supplies, and continues heading in the direction of the glowing red marker. Looking up at the evening sky, he begins analyzing his geographic location. Given that he fell off the mountain ridge toward the east, Art calculates that he must be somewhere near the borders of the elves' domain. However, he notices something weird. The trademark thick enchanted fog that usually blankets the forest of Elshire is completely absent. Furthermore, while he initially feared landing in the deadly beast glades, he notices that only small, harmless animals are roaming around. What puzzles him most is the sheer density of environmental mana in the air. This region is overflowing with pure, rich mana, Yet strangely, there isn't a single aggressive mana beast in sight. While Art bitterly regrets that he can't stop to absorb this incredible mana to strengthen his core, he knows he has to keep moving. With his mother pregnant, the sheer mental trauma and grief of thinking her son is dead could endanger the baby. He has to get back to his family as fast as humanly possible, assuming they are still alive. As dusk settles over the canopy, Arthur finally arrives at the exact coordinates highlighted by the glowing red marker. The mysterious lady's voice greets him warmly. "I'm glad you were able to make it here safely." Looking around the desolate rocky clearing, Art tilts his head in total confusion, seeing nothing but massive boulders. "It's nice to meet you." The voice chuckles at his confusion. "As interesting as it would be, I am not a sentient cluster of rocks. You will find me within the crevice." Arthur steps forward, spotting a dark, narrow opening splitting through the side of a massive stone wall. Taking a deep breath to steady his nerves, our tiny MC looks into the darkness. Thinking of his family one last time, he mentally vows, "Dad, Mom, I'll be home soon." With renewed determination, Arthur steps into the cavern to meet his mysterious savior face to face. We pick up right as Arthur begins making his way inside the dark, narrow rock crevice. As he steps forward, the mysterious lady's voice suddenly warns, "Watch your step." Before Art can even process the warning, the ground directly beneath his feet violently cracks. He plummets straight down through the darkness, hitting the hard stone floor with a loud crash. Dazed and groggy, Arthur pushes himself up and brushes the dirt off his pants, internally complaining, "A warning that I was going to drop 2 stories down would have been nice." Yeah, mentioning the giant hole before he stepped on it would have been greatly appreciated. However, as he stands up and looks across the cavern, the casual annoyance completely vanishes. Arthur freezes dead in his tracks. Standing directly before him is a terrifying, massive creature clad in intimidating dark armor. The sight is so overwhelming and horrifying that our reincarnated king's legs completely buckle, sending him falling right back onto his hands. He is so utterly paralyzed with fear that he can't even force a single sound out of his throat, internally stammering in absolute terror. "What is that?" The terrifying beast steps toward the trembling toddler, speaking in that same dignified, familiar voice. "We finally meet, child." Seeing Arthur frozen with his jaw hanging open, the creature dryly jokes. "Bugs will fly into your mouth if you keep it open that wide." Imagine getting roasted within 5 seconds of meeting someone. Even giant mythical creatures have enough time to deliver jokes. Realizing the terrifying monster is actually the smooth-voiced savior from earlier, Art quickly snaps his mouth shut. The entity continues, explaining the situation. "It'll take some time for me to open a dimensional rift strong enough to transport you home. There are special plants that will be able to nourish you until then." Gaining back a fraction of his composure, Arthur pushes himself back up onto his feet and politely thanks his savior. He wanders over to a nearby cluster of glowing fantasy plants, examining one of the fruits and thinking, "This looks okay." Looking down at his reflection in the smooth skin of the fruit, memories of his loving parents, Ray and Alice, instantly flash across his mind. Just as he's lost in thought, the creature's deep voice suddenly booms right behind him. "That one tastes better." Startled out of his skin, Arthur jumps, splatting the fruit right onto the floor. "Congratulations, Art, you successfully speedran the process of dropping your lunch." Recovering from his jump scare, he picks up the recommended fruit instead, takes a bite, and cautiously sits down next to the towering creature. Looking up, Art asks, "I know you told me you were a lady, but is there a better way I can address you?" The creature looks down and answers softly, "My name is Sylvia." Arthur repeats her name quietly, "Sylvia, do you mind if I ask a few questions?" Sylvia rests her massive form, replying gently, "Go ahead, little one, although I may not be able to answer everything." With his initial terror gradually melting away, Arthur seizes the opportunity to get answers to all the burning questions that have been racing through his mind since waking up. Where was this mysterious place? Why was she living here all alone? Where did she originate from? How did she sustain that massive, festering wound on her body? And above all, why did she save his life? Sylvia answers with quiet grace, "Your first question is easy enough. This place is a narrow zone that rests between the Beast Glades and the Forest of Elshire. No one knows of this place because I've been warding off anyone who comes close, although those cases are rare in the first place. You, Arthur, are the first to enter into this domain." Feeling a sense of mutual respect building, Art offers a gentle correction. "You can call me Art, my family calls me Art. It's short for Arthur." Sylvia nods softly, "Very well, I shall also call you Art." Addressing his remaining questions, Sylvia's tone turns somber. "As for your second question, I am here alone simply because I have no one left to be with. I have many enemies that desperately wish for something that I have. My last battle with my enemies before I was able to escape left me with this wound. She looks down at the tiny toddler, her expression softening. As for why I saved you, perhaps I was moved by your courage and sacrifice. Or perhaps I had simply grown lonely. Even I don't fully understand why. My apologies, Art, but I will excuse myself for the night. My wound festers, and I must be in good condition when I work on the dimensional rift tomorrow. Arthur nods respectfully. Okay, good night, Sylvia. Watching the fearsome, armor-clad figure retreat deeper into the cave, Art can't help but feel a deep pang of empathy in his chest, realizing just how heartbreakingly lonely Sylvia truly is. Just as Sylvia is about to step into the darkness of her sleeping quarters, she suddenly pauses, turning her head back toward the young boy. I almost forgot. My sight is unable to reach exactly where they have gone, but your family and friends are safe, just in case you weren't sure. Hearing those 5 words, your family and friends are safe, the heavy, suffocating anxiety that had been crushing Arthur's chest since his fall completely shatters. The stoic facade of the reincarnated warrior king entirely breaks down. Tears burst from Art's eyes as he collapses, weeping uncontrollably onto the cavern floor. Through his heavy sobs, he stammers out another desperate, heartfelt thank you to Sylvia. They weren't tears of sadness or pain, they were pure, unadulterated tears of relief, knowing that his mother, his father, and his unborn baby sibling were alive and well. What an absolute emotional roller coaster of a video. From the hilarious chaos of a talking corpse and a 2-story drop to Arthur's heartwarming bond with Sylvia and that devastating moment of relief, this part had comedy, tension, and real emotion all the way through. Now that Arthur knows his family and friends are safe, the big question is, what happens next as he continues his time with Sylvia? And with the story moving forward, what kind of surprises are waiting for him next? Let me know your thoughts, theories, and favorite moments down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next breakdown. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.